Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. This is Pete.
And this is Derek.
And we are brothers that talk about video games. Isn't that right, Derek?
That is indeed right.
Sweet. And this time we actually have quite a bit to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, even what we've been playing, I have a lot to talk about too.
You probably been playing more than I do, but I mean, we also have the recent video game awards, Jeff Keighley's. We can talk about. Not a lot of Nintendo stuff there. And we've also got the recent Nintendo Indie Direct, which just happened the other day, which is also pretty exciting.
Yeah, yesterday, I think, right?
Yeah, so first off, any of your predictions come true? I'm looking at my predictions here, that's why. From last episode?
I don't think they did. The one that I really thought was going to be shown was Indiana Jones, and that was definitely not true. So yeah, I don't think any of mine came true.
I'm looking at my list right now, and the only thing that I was right about was there was another Deathloop trailer.
Because they were announcing the Game of the Year award.
I know. I'm just kidding. So, anyways, let's jump right into it here. What did you think of the show overall, Derek? Like any kind of?
I didn't hate it. I actually liked it. I thought it was solid. I didn't think there were any mind-blowing trailers of like, oh my god, I can't believe they just announced that. Like, this is amazing. It was more like, oh, like that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It was like very consistently good, but no like real peaks. I did find it dragged on a bit. I thought, the middle section especially was a little bit like just slow, and then even the end, I thought they would end on some bigger notes. Or maybe just bigger notes for me, I was hoping. But I thought the first hour and a half were pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a weird place because, this is a Nintendo podcast. And I think we were both, or at least I was hoping for maybe something from Nintendo this year.
True, I agree with that, yeah.
And there's basically nothing. They did little sizzle reels, but I think this is the first time they haven't shown anything at the Game Awards in quite a few years now.
And I'm surprised too that they didn't like the indie direct that was yesterday, the Nindy. I was surprised that it wasn't a full blown direct coming out in the next week or two instead.
They don't usually do directs this time of year, though, do they?
I know they don't, but I was just thinking like it was just strange to have an indie direct and not have a real direct, considering they showed nothing at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, there is a little bit of, I think Nintendo's in this place right now where they're kind of resting on their laurels a little bit. And I mean, I don't know if you caught the recent news for like the November sales charts.
The Switch sales? Yeah, I know. I was going to say the same thing.
Selling like double what the PlayStation and Xbox are combined. Or no, not double. It's basically what they are combined. And in Japan, it's like they're destroying. Like they literally
99% of sales.
Yeah, like the top 10 is consistently them. And I mean, we could have a whole discussion about that. How Sony has kind of lost Japan entirely, maybe for the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. And with the chip shortages, I mean, how long is Square Enix going to hold on to Sony in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably for a long time. Okay, well let's get right into it. So the pre-show. Did you watch the pre-show? I didn't.
I did watch the pre-show.
I'm just looking at the list here of pre-show games. There doesn't seem to be anything too wild on this list. Did anything from the pre-show stand out to you? Yeah,
there's at least 3 that really stood out to me. The first was the very first game shown, which was Tunic.
Okay.
I've been following Tunic a little bit. I learned about it maybe a month or so ago, and it's nice to see the release date. It looked kind of like a Zelda game, but I think you're playing like a fox or a different kind of little creature, but it looks like almost like a Zelda isometric kind of Zelda game.
I know. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now. They've shown this before.
Yes.
Yeah, it is like isometric. Is this exclusive to Xbox?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I think they showed that a while ago. So.
Yeah, I think people were just waiting. I think there is even like a pretty lengthy demo out there. I just think people were waiting to finally get a release date. So that one I'm excited for now that I just bought an Xbox.
And sorry, just a quick question. Is that Game Pass?
I believe so, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
The other one that is kind of an indie game was the one called Have a Nice Death. It looks almost like very similar to Hollow Knight, kind of these beautiful 2D kind of graphics and world. It looks very similar kind of gameplay style too, almost like a Metroidvania. The the animations though look really, 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 really nice. So that game, I was like, damn, that looks cool. And I loved Hollow Knight, so it does look in that kind of same vein. So I definitely on my radar. And the final game that really kind of caught me off guard, I don't know if this has been shown before, but was Evil West. Did you check out that trailer?
No.
So I did not know if this game existed before. You're like a cowboy, but you have all these kind of like futuristic weapons and stuff, and you're fighting off evil demons. But you're like, it looks really cool.
It's an FPS?
I think it's actually a third-person game.
Cool. It's like, I sometimes feel like nowadays, for one, there's so many games being announced, and it's hard to tell like what's a reputable third-party developed game and what's not, because the indie developers have gotten that good. So sometimes it's like a game will look really good, and then you realize it's like some crappy, not crappy, but like, smaller developer. It's not a major developer, and it kind of ends up being nothing. Or it's the opposite, where it looks like it's something no-name developer, no-name game, and it comes out, it's an amazing game. So
exactly,
it's like exciting, but also hard to tell, because it seems like there's a lot of pitfalls here, like... the only thing that I'm looking at this list here is that I see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
Yeah, so I don't know. Again, I'm going to assume you haven't seen any of these trailers. It didn't show any gameplay, but it did say it was a multiplayer game. I think it's going to be very similar to Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, like those asymmetrical, like one's a monster and there's like 4 heroes trying to run away from the monster kind of thing.
I had a lot of fun. I got to say, I played quite a bit of Friday the 13th. Have you played it?
I know, but I played Dead by Daylight, and I'm going to say the opposite. I hated that game. That style of game is not for me.
Okay, I have to say the Friday the 13th game, there's it's like a little bit janky, right? Like it's not polished.
Yes, same with Dead by Daylight, yeah.
But there's something so incredibly fun about it, and it's like just like the balance between how you can run away from Jason or not, and like the skills, the weird skills that they give the Jason player to catch you, and it's like so extraordinarily hard to beat him. So it's like you're usually just watching everyone get killed off. So
yeah,
but it's cool. So I mean, I just should say I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The first one is one of my favorite films. So I'm more interested in this than I am.
Yeah, again, there was no gameplay, and I'm kind of I don't really want to give an opinion just about a CG trailer. It means nothing to me.
No kidding. I mean that's almost like the theme of the whole show.
Almost every game show these days, I find.
Yeah, and I mean, we can talk about that a little bit, but I feel very frustrated with it. I feel like I see a lot of gamers being frustrated about that. And I don't know if it's a matter of just developers nervous about showing gameplay that'll get picked apart. I don't quite get it. Like,
I was reading, and I saw someone comment and said, the reason they show that is because they don't have gameplay they want to show yet.
Okay.
But they also don't want to not talk about the game because they don't want leaks. They want to own the game. They want to present the game before leaks get out.
Yep.
And today's day and age, it's hard to get progress without it leaking. So you might as well just announce it and then show it when it's ready.
True. I mean, it's just funny though, because there'll be something like when Metroid Prime 4 was announced, and it literally is like a placeholder text, and that just blows the world up. And then meanwhile, like we'll talk about later, like they showed a Star Wars game, and it's all CG kind of cutscenes, and it just we'll get to that. You know what I mean? Like, it does nothing for me.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to add on to about the pre-show is this game Babylon's Fall, the Platinum game, Square Enix game.
Yeah, the one that's gonna fail.
Yeah, it's gonna fail, but I just find it interesting because it's releasing on the same day as their other game, Triangle Strategy.
Triangle Strategy is March 3rd.
Yep.
Well, I mean, but they're totally.
I know they're totally different systems. I know. I just found it interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating baselessly here, but I think there might be something to developers releasing games on the same day. I remember Nintendo used to do it a lot more when they had multiple consoles. Yeah, like they released Zelda: Link Between Worlds on 3DS and Mario 3D World on Wii U the same day. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime and games like that. So I don't wonder if it has something to do with like shipment costs or I'm just making this all up. Who knows? Yeah. But anyways, let's get into the show here. So the first thing they showed was Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, if I'm saying that right. Did you play the first Hellblade?
No, but it's one of the games I just downloaded the past few days.
Okay, so
I will be playing it. It's on my must play.
Just so our listeners know, Derek recently got an Xbox Series X, so he'll be talking about that probably a lot throughout, chiming in about those types of things. Oh, I'll download that.
Yes, I will.
How does it feel to have all 3 consoles, Derek?
It's awesome. I love it. It feels a little bit strange because it's like I'm realizing now that like my PS5 might not get play for not like a few months, just because there's I have Kina that I still have to finish, but besides that, I'm just kind of playing. Like it feels like you have all the games to play, but you also realize how you're neglecting the systems that you paid for.
But are you not going to get Elden Ring on PS5?
I am, but that's the end of February, so I got 2 months till that game comes out.
True. I mean, that's kind of a typical January, though. I mean, there's not.
I know, but usually, if I didn't have an Xbox, for example, I'd be playing, some of my old PS4 games that I haven't played. I'd be playing more of the PS Plus games. So but now I'm just like full on Xbox. I got 30 games downloaded. I'm going to go through all those the next few months.
Cool. I'm firmly into like indie games world right now, but we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, I have played Hellblade. I downloaded it for Game Pass and tried it, and I don't know. I got to say, I fell off in about maybe an hour and a half, and I just found that it's this type of. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to say anything that's disparaging because it's like it does have its own style and its own type of gameplay, but it more or less is a walking simulator. And you're just doing a lot of walking, a lot of story, and when you do get to the combat, it's like extremely basic. And when you get to the puzzles, it's also extremely basic, and there's little to no exploration. Like, you're pretty much on a single path. So, I mean, it's just not my kind of game, but I think that type of gameplay allows them to make extraordinarily beautiful graphics, and like, the camera never cuts, there's no load times. It's like, it's a very clean experience. Yeah. But it's just not that the gameplay's not really that engaging to me. So, and from what I saw of Hellblade 2, it kind of looks exactly the same.
I think that is what they're doing. It's kind of like
it's what they're going.
It's like almost like it's like an interactive movie. I think is a good way to kind of put it.
Totally, and honestly, the way it looks amazing. Like what they're doing is amazing. I just wish I could get a little more into it. I guess just gameplay is king for me.
Totally, and the fact that it's going to be on Game Pass and the first one's on Game Pass, I don't know if I'd ever buy these games, especially buy them day one.
Well, why buy them if you have them on Game Pass, right?
That's what I'm saying. But even if I didn't have Game Pass, like I don't think I'd ever want to buy this game. Like, let's say it was a PlayStation exclusive, I wouldn't buy this game day one just for that gameplay reason alone you just explained.
Totally.
But
yep.
But since it's on Game Pass, like I don't mind downloading and trying it for a couple hours and getting hooked or not. Whatever.
Yeah, and to be honest, so everything we saw from Hellblade 2 was in game. It was actually gameplay, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. It looked like a cutscene, I think the game, this Hellblade 2, more so than the first one, like blends the cutscene with the gameplay like very seamlessly and frequently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when she was aiming this, it was like a giant baby crawling after you, or a giant man. And when you like readied your bow or readied your spear, like that was aiming gameplay. And when you run away, I think it's gameplay. But like other than that, there's a lot of cutscenes and stuff. So it kind of meshes those two together. Mm-hmm. This one didn't get a release date, but I think it's pretty firmly set for this coming year. And I also believe that this was the game that Jeff Keighley said was they had 2.5 years in the works of getting it to be shown. Like this was the big one, you know what I mean?
Oh, you thought that was the big one.
Well,
I don't know what the
really
big one was.
I think, but with the speculation I've seen is it's that one or Star Wars.
Oh, I thought maybe Alan Wake 2 was the one.
Oh, or it could be Alan Wake 2. But yeah, the one interesting thing about Hellblade, I mean, I don't want to like jump too far on every single game here, but it's not. I thought it was going to be an Xbox exclusive, and it is actually coming to PS5.
What, Hellblade 2?
Yeah.
No, it is not.
I believe it is. Look it up.
I would be shocked by that.
Look it up. I believe it is. Or it's coming to PS4.
Hellblade 2 is not coming to PlayStation consoles.
Oh, it's not? Okay, because like I had this whole discussion planned about why would Microsoft release it on their competing console.
It's like every single thing is saying, no, it's not. It's only available as an Xbox Series X and S exclusive.
Okay, never mind that whole discussion point then. Okay. Well, cool. I guess I'm just glad that Microsoft has some. It's like it feels like almost after this Game Awards that Microsoft actually does have some exciting things.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next game they showed was Star Wars Eclipse. Mm-hmm. Now, this is kind of funny. I thought the trailer, as far as editing and shots and like the way it was done, music was like, not kidding, one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
full
awesome.
Stop. Like not even just for movies, like not even just for games, but movies, games, TV shows. Like it was full stop one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
It's also it's still the most watched trailer from the Game Awards by like 3 times the second place.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it also had this incredible moment of it had this incredible rise, and then once I saw the developer,
same.
Literally, it's like I don't think I've ever had more of a deflation. Like, probably the last time I was that deflated from a trailer was in 2001 when they showed Wind Waker would be cartoon. Like, it's literally been 20 years that I've been that deflated by a trailer. Just like, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I never played Detroit, but I did play Heavy Rain. I thought it was interesting. I got pretty far in it on the PS3. I never played, what was it, Beyond Two Souls was their other game? Mm-hmm. But I guess this developer, Quantic Dream, and I think his name is David Cage, is the writer. I don't know the full story, but I guess there's a little bit of controversy around him and some of his writing and some of the things he said. I guess he's a little bit problematic. But on the same token, there's something to be said. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about this because I think that style of game would actually work really well in Star Wars.
I was going to say the same thing. There's potential there. I don't know if I like those kind of games.
Yeah, and it really comes down to me. It's like, how are you going to handle the action, right? Because I don't really want to play a walking simulator. But I also don't. As funny as it sounds, I say I'm all about the gameplay, but I also don't mind those games that are full of QuickTime events. So if the game, because that's kind of what Heavy Rain was. It was like a major QuickTime event game. But if you missed a QuickTime event, you didn't get a game over. It just changed the path of the story.
I think Detroit was like that too.
Yeah, and to be honest, probably like one of the first games I will get when I get a PS5 is Detroit, and I heard it has a nice PS5 upgrade and stuff, so I will probably get on that. So I don't know. I guess for Star Wars Eclipse, I'm mixed. Mm-hmm. Do you know when this is coming out? Did they say?
I don't think they gave a year.
Okay, so probably holiday 2026. But anyways, yeah. I mean, it's weird. It's one of the best trailers from the show, but also not super exciting on a video game front.
Yeah.
The next thing was Nintendo Switch had an indie sizzle reel. I think this was just games that are already out.
Yeah, games that have already been known. I mean, again, we had the indie yesterday, which showed new games.
I just think it's super weird that like all these other developers are using this space to like announce games, and Nintendo's basically using it as like a regular commercial.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like
it's truly an advertisement.
And you know, it's funny. It's one of those things where like, had this been during the Wii U era or some of the drier Wii days, like people would be outraged by this kind of thing. Like, what are you doing? But I think now because they've had a pretty successful last few months, sales and game wise, so it's like they can do this. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they can literally show nothing, and they're like, well, hey, we know our Pokemon remakes are going to outsell everything on this list anyways. And we have a new Pokemon coming in January, so screw off, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Anyway, so after that, they had this Bethesda trailer. Do you remember that one where the guy's like in the woods and they gave away all the free codes?
Oh, yeah.
I think
that was hilarious.
Hilarious. And I was watching that being like, these are real codes, aren't they?
Yeah, they were.
And they were, but I just knew there was gamers online snagging up faster than me, right? So, whatever. The next game was Lost Ark. To be honest, I don't even remember this.
I don't remember it either.
Okay. Sorry, Lost Ark developers. We know you listen to every week of our podcast. After that, they showed off or revealed the Wonder Woman game. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about this because this is like the epitome of what I don't want a reveal trailer to be, where it was like a render and then a title.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing to it.
Yeah.
The one thing that got me excited though is it's made by Monolith, and they are the ones that made Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, and they're the ones that have the patented
the village,
Nemesis system. So, and they've already confirmed after that the Nemesis system will be in Wonder Woman. So, I mean, I really like the Nemesis system. It's a really cool idea. I played both Shadow of Mordor and War. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman to me is like one of the most uninteresting superheroes.
Really?
But it does nothing for me at all. But I'm still excited to see it because if the gameplay is cool, then I'm down.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm not really a comic book guy. I'm not super into Wonder Woman, but I did like the first Wonder Woman movie, and I liked the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. So I kind of have come around. And I actually think it could be really fun to control Wonder Woman because depending on what era of Wonder Woman we're going with, like, she can fly, she can ride horses, she can run super fast, she can, like, parry bullets, and she has a whip. Like, there could be some real, and knowing the combat style of those Lord of the Rings games could be really cool. So yeah, but it's just, again, it's almost sometimes frustrating because they announce a game like that, and the first thing I think is great. So that's just going to be on a release list lineup for the next 3 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just almost frustrating. I'd rather than be like, oh, hey, here it is, and it's coming out next year. Like, I don't know, but I guess that's not what developers do. After that was probably one of the bigger announcements, which was Alan Wake 2. And correct me if I'm wrong, there was no trailer, right? I think I may have gone to the bathroom during this part.
Yeah, there was a trailer. It was all CG, no gameplay, but there was a trailer.
Okay, and it's Remedy, right, developing it?
Yeah, Remedy, the guys that made Control.
Yeah, and it had something to do with them getting the rights back from Microsoft.
Oh, really?
Because Microsoft,
I don't know that whole story.
Yeah, Microsoft used to be really close with Remedy, right? Like Remedy basically made Max Payne 1 and 2 on, and they had it on PC and Xbox.
And Quantum Break was just
totally, and then they made Alan Wake on 360, and then they made Quantum Break, and I guess Remedy kind of after Quantum Break, I think, bombed pretty badly on Xbox One. Remedy went on to make Control. I know you love that game.
Loved it.
These guys have talent for sure.
Yeah.
So the only thing with Alan Wake I'm not so sure about is I think the first one, by the way, we can play on Game Pass.
Really? Because I
maybe not.
I know there's a remaster that came out and it's on the PS5, so I was considering buying that.
Oh, is that out already? The remaster?
The Alan Wake remaster. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, maybe I'll grab that. Or maybe not.
It's like $50 or whatever, but
okay. So I don't know. I mean, they're changing the style to be a horror game now versus.
Well, I thought, what was the first one?
It was like it was more like an action kind of action adventure with a horror setting. So I feel. Okay. I mean, he made the distinction.
To me, that sounds almost the same.
Same, but he made the clear distinction to say now because I think Jeff Keighley said, "Oh, what kind of game is it?" Like they had pre-canned that question, and he goes, "Oh, it's a survival horror now," and I feel like that might just be like, okay, so what does that mean? It's going to be like Resident Evil, first person, low ammo, like
or like the Evil Within kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I would actually hope they go with more of the Evil Within style.
Me too.
I feel like the first person survival horror thing is a little played out, and Capcom just owns that, So
yeah,
I don't know if Remedy's going to add something to that, and like their third person games are so good, right? After that was the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie trailer with Jim Carrey.
I loved it. It's probably one of the highlights of the show for me.
Really, a movie trailer?
Yeah, I know. I thought it looked great. I loved the first movie. It was quite fun, and I'm excited for this one.
Okay, well, you know what? I really enjoyed the first Sonic movie. I wouldn't say I loved it. I wouldn't say I'm super excited for the second one. But I agree, it does look actually really good. It looks like another good one, and Jim Carrey makes those movies, right? Mm-hmm. And I also thought when Jim Carrey came out and spoke, it was actually hilarious. He was so funny, like what he was saying. I don't know.
I didn't realize he was an anti-vaxxer. Did you really know that?
I don't think he is anymore.
Oh, I thought okay.
That's like way in the past. He got a little bit fruity and stuff, and his girlfriend commits suicide. Like he had a little bit of weirdness about him, and he got a little bit weird with his vibes and what he was talking about. But I'm pretty sure when it comes to COVID, he's not that crazy. But who knows, right? If our listeners are out there, get vaccinated. Don't be an idiot. The next thing they showed was the Horizon Forbidden West gameplay with an orchestra. This trailer looked amazing.
Forbidden West looks freaking amazing. I've kind of gone. I watched it, but I didn't pay attention too much because I'm kind of blacking out for the game until it comes out. But yeah, this game looks amazing. I think this trailer and the one before it really have convinced me that this is probably going to be a day one game.
Honestly,
I don't know how it can't be.
If I had a PS5, it'd be a day one.
Yeah, the only thing that's still that hindrance is that Elden Ring comes out right after.
Yeah, I mean, but I think this is one of those games that I don't think you can anticipate it dropping price within a month. Like it'll probably
it won't. That's exactly.
But yeah, it honestly floored me. Like, it looks like the first one looks really good, but this one just looks like so much better. And I'm not kidding. It might be the best looking game I've ever seen. I don't know if you feel that way. I just think. I mean, I don't mean in terms of gameplay. I just mean
I like art
sheer
style and
art, and not to mention it's open world, and it looks like it's taking
creativity, like the creativeness of the robots and the areas. Like, it's awesome.
I mean, it has underwater. The underwater stuff looks amazing, and it looks like it's a little more open than the first one, where like it looks like you can really go anywhere.
It looks like there's a lot more verticality too.
Yeah. So I mean, this trailer like sold me on, like. And the crazy thing is, like a week or two after Horizon Forbidden West comes out, Gran Turismo, was it 7 comes out? So PS5 has a really strong first quarter, like probably maybe the strongest PlayStation's had in a while. Really, really strong. Okay, well that's cool. Let's move on. The next thing was less interesting. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming to the Epic Store exclusively. I think some people are upset about this because the price.
Oh, because it's $10 more or something, right?
Yeah, and people don't like the Epic's Game Store.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't PC game, so I really don't even have any relation to Steam versus Epic Game Store. I don't really have my foot in the game there, so I don't really have much to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a PC that can play games, and I had Epic Game Store for a little bit, but I don't really care. I just, and again, I'm not buying these kind of games that are heavy graphics. I'm just buying like PC exclusives.
Yep.
So
you already played Final Fantasy VII on PS4, right?
Yeah. The only thing I loved it. The only thing I want to do is
DLC.
Get the DLC, and then probably play it on my PS5, where I'll have better image quality and 60 frames.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost glad that I waited. I think eventually this will come to Xbox, to be honest.
So you haven't played it at all, right?
I haven't touched
really
it
good.
at all. But
I liked it a lot.
I'm still kind of the opinion, like, I don't love RPGs, so I'm hesitant to pay full price on it. So, like, I might just wait till a year or two when it's on Game Pass or something, hopefully.
Yeah, wait for it to drop. It just looks really good.
Yeah, and the combat looks really awesome, right?
Yeah. I mean, the combat, it's good. Like, the combat's good.
Okay, so moving on, the next one, Destiny 2: The Witch King. I could care less about this. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I never played Destiny 2.
Yeah, me neither.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. I played number 1. We played together. It was okay. After that, Slitterhead. I don't remember this one.
Oh, Slitterhead's made by the guy who created Silent Hill.
Oh yes, it's that horror game.
Yeah, where the humans turn into like a spine and like claws and just a head. Looks wild. It looks freaking. It looks. I think I told you. To me, it looks really cool. But I watched it, and to this moment have no idea what I watched. Like, I don't know what this game's gonna be. If it's gonna be good, bad, chaotic, action, horror. I don't really know this is gonna be. But I'm interested. Like, it at least captured my interest, which a lot of these trailers didn't.
True. Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like for example, like the Wonder Woman. I'm sure it's gonna be a great game or a very popular game, but the trailer was garbage.
Yeah.
It but Slitterhead was like, oh my god, like, what is this game? It's going all over the place.
Well, cool. I mean, I guess that's on the radar. They also next showed Nightingale. I don't remember this one either. Like, I mean, they just showed so much. A lot of it washed over me. Do you remember Nightingale?
Yeah, I think. Let me just double check before I say it. I think Nightingale was the. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like. Did you ever play Valheim?
No.
Do you know about Valheim?
Yes. Yes.
So I think it's like Rust in Valheim, where it's one of those like MMO kind of crafting survival games, and you build your base with your friends or whatever on a server, and you fight against. It looks like you fight against like all these kind of mythical creatures.
Oh, I remember this now. And you team up with people.
Yeah,
and it looks like a little bit of a Fortnite vibe of building, right?
Yeah, it's crafting survival. Yeah, and even in the trailer, it looked really cool. Like, there's a giant, and it's like stomping on your base. This looks like the successor of what Valheim. Like, Valheim was really cool. I played it with my friends, had a great time. This looks even more up my alley because you have all these kind of cool powers and cool, interesting enemies, and it looks just higher quality graphics and things like that. So this is on my radar for sure, and as long as my friends are in, I'd be in to get this.
Sweet. Yeah, it sounds like kind of one of those games that maybe one day you'll be like, oh, hey, you have to get this cheap cost game, and you need to play it with me right now. And then I would download and we were playing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So after that, they showed off Beat Saber with Lady Gaga music.
Yep.
It's kind of cool. I really want to try Beat Saber, but I'll probably get it when I maybe get the next version of the PSVR way down the line. I don't know.
Yeah, I really want to try Beat Saber too. I have friends that love it. I don't really care for Lady Gaga music, so that doesn't mean much to me. But yeah, Beat Saber looks freaking awesome.
You know, I think we've talked about this before, but I don't feel like I'd want to invest in a VR setup, but I would love if I could go somewhere and pay for like 1 or 2 hours and play a few games.
Yeah.
And just experience that. Anyways, okay, the next thing they showed was Gollum.
Gollum. Okay, it's like I've never heard someone pronounce Gollum.
Well, here's the thing. So this game was announced like over a year ago. And I was really expecting them to show some gameplay here. So I just kind of wasn't sure. Like, I don't know. I don't know why you'd reveal a game, show a teaser CG trailer, and then like a year later show another thing that
CG
gives
trailer,
no update, gives no gameplay, and gives no release date. Or it doesn't even say with multiplayer. Like nothing. Like,
yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, why did you do this? Like, are you just reminding us? Like, I don't...
Totally. To me, everything about this game that we've seen or know about, I am not interested at all. Like, I hate Gollum as a character in Lord of the Rings. My least favorite character.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Like, you hate him in the good, like, you actually think you just don't like him, eh?
Don't like him. I find him annoying, uninteresting, unfun, like just the worst character in the books, in the movies, everything. I also think that
he's like a favorite of people's.
I know, but not for me. I also think that Gollum is inherently all about kind of stealth, and it looks like it's going to be kind of a stealth-focused game from what, you know, it's implying that the game is about. And I really don't like stealth games very much.
Really?
So yeah, not really. There's a select few that I enjoy, but for the most part, no. So everything about this game just does not interest me, and I don't even the graphics and how Gollum looks doesn't look good to me.
It doesn't look right, does it? I mean, it looks
face
cartoony. Looks different.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know they want to differentiate from the movies, right? They don't want to make it be the same Gollum.
But here's the thing. So in the movie, when we saw Gollum, it was almost like that was the bleeding edge of Gollum.
Oh my god.
Gollum. He
like
was
gallbladder.
He was the like kind of the graphical showpiece of the movie, and also kind of like a graphical benchmark of the time, right?
Yeah,
like that we could do that.
Totally. And I think how he looks became iconic, right? Like it's like that's how he looks.
Totally. I mean, I tell you, I read The Hobbit, and that's not how he looked when I imagined it in the book. But when I saw him in the movie, like I've kind of accepted that now as his look. So I guess it's not so much that they want to change his look, but it's more like it's not different enough. It just looks like a cheaper version. Like, I don't know. It looks like a little bit of a cartoonized version. And man, like the number one thing I would make sure of if I was working on this game is to make sure that we at least get to some form of parity with the movie, if that's possible. I mean, it is video games. It's lower budget, but it's also, 20 years later. And people will notice if this looks significantly worse than Gollum in the movie.
Totally.
But with that said, like I think the gameplay could be really cool. Like I kind of like the idea of like sneaking around like an orc base and like sneaking around, running away from them, climbing their backs, and like throwing stones. And like I don't know if the platforming and controls and like explorability are there. Like if I can like choose how I want to go about a moment, like I think this could be a really great game. The thing that's turning me off the most about it is it's Electronic Arts, so it'll probably be full of microtransactions and
yes, definitely,
and NFTs. So not interested. We'll see. I'm like I always say, I'm big on reviews. If it reviews well, then I'm interested, but we'll see. The next one was PUBG, free to play. I mean, this has been out for years. I don't know what there's to say about that.
Yeah.
After that, to be honest, this is the number one game of the whole thing for me. The game I'm most excited about.
Really?
Yeah, Somerville.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen trailers. Looks cool to me. I'm down. I'm thinking it was the game of the show for me though.
I mean, it's for me personally because I absolutely love Limbo and I absolutely love Inside.
Oh, it's made by them?
Well, it's made by one of them. Didn't they split? There's two of them, right? Then they.
I don't know, but consider me a lot more interested. I didn't even know that.
Trust me. So when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of like, "Oh, what is this? Some indie game with cool graphics, neat. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad." And then at the end, I saw the name Somerville, and I'm like, "Wait a second, I've heard of this before." And then I did a little digging, and I'm like, "Oh, that's that same developer." And I said Inside's a 10 out of 10 for me. Limbo is really high for me. I love those two games, and the improvement that Inside made over Limbo, this looks like it's making more over Inside. And this is also going to be an Xbox exclusive, Game Pass day one. Mm-hmm. So I look at they still don't think they gave a release date, did they?
I don't believe so, but what I did find out is that this game is an Xbox exclusive.
I just said that, yeah.
Oh, you said that? Sorry, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, so it should be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I know they're setting a 2022 release. So it's been announced a while ago. So here's the thing: if a game is shown in December and they say the year is it's a 2022 release, we can basically assume that the release is going to be after June. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So okay, second half of the year, maybe it'll get delayed. But I think, man, it looks so cool. Like I love that style of like alien invasions where it's like scary.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like the world, like you're like lost in the world, right? You're like running and like
totally
no place is safe. Yeah.
It looks 3D too. It doesn't look like it's 2D. I can't tell.
I think it's 3D.
Okay, but because I know Inside and Limbo are 2D, but the other thing about Limbo and Inside that I love is the death animations and like how you die. So I expect the same thing here, right? Where like,
yes.
Did you play? You played Inside and Limbo, right?
I own them both. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
I loved them. Yeah.
So like,
sorry, and let me rephrase. Like, I think it's 3D in the same sense that Inside was.
Oh, okay, so 2D,
where the graphics are 3D, but I think you're running kind of on a track. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I'd go as far as saying that this is my top 5 most excited games for next year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Inside was so good to me. I'll probably buy this a day, or I might even go as far as paying for this game. That's how much I want it. Mm-hmm. Even though it's on Game Pass, which is like wasting money.
Yeah.
I could also just get it on Game Pass and just send like $20 in the mail to the developer. The same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, really excited. The next thing they showed was the Cuphead DLC. Finally.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. And again, I just want to say it. Microsoft, at least at the show, is like kicking butt so far.
Yeah, but we should mention that Cuphead is not, the DLC is going to be on Switch and PS5 and everything.
True, I forgot. I'm just saying it's still a Microsoft game at the end of the day.
Is it though? Because they don't own that developer, and I believe they only made a publishing deal with the original release. And I don't know if
they owned it.
No, it's Studio MDR or something, right?
Okay. You know better than I do.
I don't believe they own them, but I believe they did publish the original Cuphead and had some sort of deal. But I don't think it's like an outright first-party game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know if I'll get this because I got to the final boss of the first Cuphead and I never beat it, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back through that hell. Right?
That's embarrassing.
I know, and the other thing too is like it's kind of like don't get me wrong. I loved Cuphead. It was a great game. But this is really just more of the same, and I think that one of the appeals of Cuphead to me was the graphical style and it being so fresh and original, and like the music and the cartoony animation. Mm-hmm. I don't know if like doing the same thing again is going to appeal to me the same way, because like the gameplay in and of itself, while good, doesn't totally draw me in.
Yeah, I think for me, the price is really kind of the thing, or I'll wait for a sale. Like I really like Cuphead, and I'm down to play another 10, 15 bosses or whatever it's going to be, but I'm not going to spend $20 to do it. So
is it 10 to 15 bosses? Like, I mean, I feel like at that level they'd make a sequel.
I thought it was going to be at least that. I was going to say even more.
Because I mean, I figured once they hit 20, why not just call it Cuphead 2?
True. Again, I don't know how many it's going to be, but I mean, they've been making for a long time. So I'd be a little disappointed if it was 5 bosses and I had to pay for that. Like,
it has been a long time. I just thought they were going to pull like a Silk Song with it. To be honest, I forgot this DLC was ever coming out. Like I literally forgot about it.
Me too. I think this is kind of like a Silk Song or just close. I think it's going to be like a full like a serious amount of an expansion, it's going to cost almost the full price of what Cuphead was.
Wow. I mean, you think it'll be $30? Maybe. I can see it.
I think it might be 20 bucks
15.
and yeah.
The one thing worth mentioning too, just to do with the way the Game Awards was presented, I loved how they handled the orchestra. It was so smooth. Like it was one of those things where like we saw a banging orchestra with all different sounds for different games, but it never felt like it was dragging like it does at the Academy Awards. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, oh, I got to listen to the orchestra. But in this one, I was like, oh, cool. It's tied to game releases. It's quick. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not on the list here, but even especially when they actually announced the Game of the Years.
I loved it. They do that every year.
And they orchestrated a little bit for everyone, and then it got to Metroid, and I was like, yes, this is so good. This is so good.
Yeah, yeah.
After that, they showed Sonic Frontiers. I mean, you couldn't pay me to be interested about this.
Yeah, I think it has potential as like being something at least interesting. I don't think I'll ever get it. What I find is cool is someone leaked this game almost like a year ago, and they said they test played it and they talked about it in detail. And they said when he test played it, he didn't like the game. It felt very empty and boring. Mm-hmm. So who knows if they've actually improved on that? But the one person that's actually played this game and spoke about it said he didn't like it. So we'll see.
Wow. I mean, I've just been burned so many times from Sonic before. I feel like Sonic is the Simpsons of the video game industry. Do you know what I mean? Like the initial concept and character is so likable that it's now lasted longer being a crappy game than it was ever being a good game. And I mean, I really, really kind of talked about it with someone the other day where, there hasn't really been a great Sonic since like 1994? Like, you know what I mean? Like literally, like with Sonic 3. On Genesis, and even the best Sonic games since, like the 3D Sonic games, and I know Mania's good, but it's a little bit of a retro throwback. But the other good Sonic games are all kind of just okay, and they haven't aged very well. Like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, which I
thought Colors was okay.
It's debatable. I mean, I've played most of them, and I would say that out of the good ones are Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Colors, and Generations. And maybe some people like Heroes. I didn't love Heroes, but out of those 4 or 5, like they have not aged well, and they're still janky. Like, you know what I mean? There's still something kind of like
not
wrong
quite
with the way the game works. Like it's too fast for the gameplay, but when you're slow, it feels awful. Like it just doesn't work. It's like they still haven't figured it out. So I don't know. This one looks like it has like a little bit of an open world style, but I don't know. Not. I mean. We'll see, right? If it gets good reviews.
Yeah, we'll see, of course.
Yeah. I also, as bad as it sounds, as soon as I know a Sonic game like this is coming to Switch, it kind of weirdly dampens my excitement. Like, I'd probably be more excited if it was a Switch exclusive or if it was next gen or Xbox PS4 level exclusive, because I just know that if it has to run on a Switch and it has to run on a PS5, something's got to give. Like it won't be optimized. I mean, Sonic Team can't optimize for a single game release, let alone for 5 different consoles, right? So like, I have no hope.
I think the world's just going to be completely empty with terrible, line of draw distance. What's the word?
Yep, draw distance, and it'll probably be 20 to 23 frames, 24 frames a second.
Yeah, and it'll be like spotty frame rate too.
But it'll have phenomenal music because somehow the Sonic Team music is amazing. Always, I don't know. I don't understand why. So after that, they showed Warhammer Vermintide. I don't know what. I know what Warhammer is, but I don't. This game.
I don't. I know they announced 2 Warhammer games. I think this one. Listeners, don't quote me on this. I think this one's more like a strategy or tactical kind of game, and the other one's more of like a hero third-person shooter kind of game. But I have no idea.
To me, it's wild that Warhammer, which I mean, I played Warhammer or painted and played when I was like a little kid, but it was always like very niche, right? Like it wasn't popular. So it's like kind of weird that this now is so popular that they can like make game series out of them, and one of the Warhammer trailers got a ton of views. I don't know if it's this one or the other one.
I think it's the other one.
But it's like it's popular, and it's just kind of weird because why wasn't actual Warhammer popular? I
think Warhammer was pretty popular. The biggest thing is it's expensive.
Yeah, I think it's popular, kind of like Magic cards are popular.
I mean, Magic cards are insanely popular.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like when you're in high school, it seems like it's not popular because there's like 2 kids playing it. But then you realize that there's 2 kids playing it in every single high school in the whole world, right?
Yeah,
so
and there's actually probably more like 15 kids playing in high school, and they just don't talk to each other.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Okay, well, who knows about this? I mean, not on my radar. But after that, they showed Chia.
I think it's just, Chia, I don't know.
This is a PlayStation exclusive, I believe. I don't know if I don't think Sony's developing it, but I think they maybe have a publishing deal. And it comes out this year, but to be honest with you, this game actually, I think, looks good.
It looks cool, yeah. I don't know if it has captured me yet, but I like what I saw.
Yeah, and it's something that they showed before. I know it's not the first time they revealed it. But yeah, something about this, like this to me kind of goes back to like, you know, Sony really has such a varied lineup of exclusives on their system, and this kind of just goes to show it's filling in that other gap, right? And it looks like it's a mix of a little bit of, I want to say, like Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon, but it's also got a mix of this. There was this game on DS called, I want to say it was called Lost in Blue. And, And I played it. I didn't like get too far into it, but the concept was really cool because you were basically surviving on an island. And so this looks like it has a little bit of that going with it, and the animation looked great. Like to me, I'm actually like, this is kind of on my radar. You know, it's probably something I would maybe like down the line I'd get a PS5 and it's on PS Plus, and that's how I take it.
Exactly, yeah, same.
I'm not gonna like line up at EB Games or anything, but Chia, you have like a sign T-shirt. Okay, so let's get through this list. We still have the list.
I'm like, you're talking about every single one. I was like, let's just skip over the ones you don't care about.
Okay, so the next one sounds pretty cool. It's Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League.
Yeah, this one looked really cool. And they actually showed gameplay, which I respected.
This is how you show a game.
Totally. And you know what? Like, the Suicide Squad movies, like the last one was pretty good, but I actually really like the last one. Just me too. But I don't have a lot of faith in DC movies or even DC games that much. But this game looked freaking fun. Like, it just looks like fun.
So just an FYI, DC Games is more of a quote-unquote publisher, but the developer is Rocksteady, who previously made the entire Batman Arkham line of games.
Okay, and those are considered like
Asylum City, Origins, and Knights. And like those games were pretty great, but they haven't really worked on anything since Knights, and I believe Gotham Knights was like an early-ish PS4 game. So this has been in development for a long time. We've heard that it's had some development hell. Apparently they had a Superman game that got canceled. But I think this looks really good. And it really reminded me of Sunset Overdrive.
Totally, I just downloaded that game too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's aged a bit now. But this looks like kind of a modern version of that. And the thing that impressed me the most about it was that there is such a variety of gameplay styles and all the different Suicide Squad characters. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that these types of games are sorely missing. Like we saw with the Guardians of the Galaxy game, you only play as a Star-Lord. And we saw in the Avengers game, where you can play as all the characters, that game's just microtransaction garbage, loot crate garbage that no one wants. So this kind of fills that void of like actually making each character interesting and having good controls. And I have a lot of faith in Rocksteady on this one. I actually think this is going to end up one of the best games of the year.
I think it's going to end up being great too, for sure. Same reason as you. And I quote me if I'm wrong, but I think this game is multiplayer too, right?
I don't, probably not local, but I think it must have online multiplayer, right?
That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, I'm just looking for like some frantic, chaotic fun, and this looks right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm so happy you got an Xbox now that we can really get into a lot of these games. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that I mean, to me, that was like if I was going to give my highlights of the show, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is one of the highlights, and also a surprise. Like I had no excitement for this. I did not care. I would never in a million years be like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to a Suicide Squad game. Sold me entirely on the gameplay.
Agreed, 100% with everything you just said.
Yeah.
Like probably top 3 of the show for me. And when someone, I think because someone either had leaked it or hinted that this was coming.
We knew, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I do not care about that at all. And then I watched it, I'm like, damn, this sounds cool.
Yeah, if developers, all the many developers that listen to this podcast, that is how you do it, okay?
Yeah, show some freaking fun gameplay.
So the next thing on the list, which is kind of funny to talk about, is Forspoken. Mm-hmm. And we got a little bit more gameplay here. We talked about it a little bit after. And the funny thing is, we'll talk about this. They revealed another trailer recently because this game's coming out soon. And you and I were always kind of on the fence about it, But this trailer, I thought, didn't do anything for me either. I still think it looks kind of boring. Like the gameplay just looks generic. Like it's almost like it's made by a focus testing group or like a computer algorithm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, I think this game has a chance for me to get it and for me to like it, but I need people to write previews and give some serious paragraphs on people that have played the whole game, and said this is what's worked, this is what doesn't, this is worth playing. Because I'm like you, it looks like there's something really cool about it. I think the massive number of spells that you can do and kind of whipping around the world is cool, but at the same time, something just doesn't jive. The story looks kind of weird. The facial animations look weird. It looks kind of stale. The gameplay, there's something about it.
Did you watch the gameplay trailer that they revealed just the other day, after the Game
Awards?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second because I thought that looked absolutely awful. It looks
too,
like it doesn't run at a good frame rate. It looks brown the whole game, and the combat looked awful. You literally just strafe around, and every time you shoot something, she says something.
I know, but did you read the previews about the game? That came out a couple hours after, because people said it was actually the people that had played it said they really liked playing it. It was
the previews that I saw were not glowing, but they weren't
not glowing, but they were good. Yeah, exactly.
It's so rare for previews to really be super strong one way. I find though, usually they'll give the benefit of the doubt.
I find this game is going to be exactly. I'll like it as much as I like Final Fantasy 15. Where it's it is fun at moments and it's kind of cool, but a good part of it, I'm just not really liking in any way.
I think it'll be this generation's first big 6.5 out of 10. I also, to be honest with you, I don't really find myself liking much of what Square Enix does at all, and I think that. I don't know, just something about their games, they just don't land. And I actually think the best games they do release are when they publish games like Octopath Traveler and those types of games. Those
That's
are
exactly
the best.
What I was going to say. Those are my favorite Square Enix games.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dragon Quest 11 was really good, and there's a team.
Final
that's
Fantasy
really
14.
That game's now blowing up apparently.
Yeah, it's doing amazingly well, and it's the reviews are phenomenal.
But it's been out for years. I don't quite understand. It's like a new expansion.
But the new expansion came out, and I just read about it. They had to stop selling the game.
I heard
because it's so popular that it's flooding the servers. They have a hit, and again with every Final Fantasy, it could be great or be trash. Final Fantasy 13, some people hated it. I liked it. It was pretty good. Final Fantasy 15, didn't love it. 16 could be phenomenal or crap. You don't really know what you're getting into.
I guess for me, it's just when I see a Square Enix announce a big AAA game, especially one of their JRPGs, the way I feel about it is wow, you're gonna have beautiful graphics, and that's it. I don't know. I know Final Fantasy 7 is much loved, but just the stories and the present, something's off about them. The gameplay doesn't land for me personally,
Mm-hmm. I like I know you said you like when Square Enix is the publisher. I was gonna think of Tomb Raider. I really like Tomb Raider as well, but they publish that. But
yeah, they own Eidos, right?
Yeah.
The next thing they showed, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines.
It's called 40K, but yeah.
Okay, 40K : Space Marine. Cool.
So this is the sequel. So just for context, this is the Space Marine 2. They've already made one. I don't know when the first one came out, but this is why I think this one got a lot of buzz, is because people were asking for a sequel to be made, and now this was finally announced.
Yeah, I know the Warhammer 40K is a big series, and I think it's really big in the PC space, right? Not as much on consoles.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, who knows? After that, they showed Among Us update. Is this the Among Us that's in 3D now, or am I crazy?
I think they announced that it's gonna have VR.
Oh, VR.
But yeah,
that's later. That was later, actually. Among Us VR. I don't know how that's gonna work. But this is the Nightmare Before Christmas kind of thing.
Yeah, this is the Christmas costumes and whatever.
I know you like Among Us. I haven't really played it, so
I don't like that. I play when my friends want to play. I'm down to play, and I enjoy it a bit, but it's not. I don't rave about it.
Yeah, it strikes me as the kind of thing. It's fun like a board game or fun like Jack in the Box games, but like
exactly.
nothing you play by yourself.
Totally.
So after that they showed Saints Row gameplay finally, and it got a release date in August. Mm-hmm. I thought this looked actually really good. It looks like the first kind of next gen. I mean, I think it's coming on current platforms as well, like PS4 and Xbox One, but it looks like a next-gen open-world game in a way that it just looks really fun. It kind of looks like the filler before GTA 6, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. I don't really know a lot about Saints Row, but I would say the same things you did, so I don't have much to add to that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love open world games, but like we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things. Like this is one of those games that if it comes to Game Pass, I'd probably give it a try, but I don't see myself buying it. Just not really interested in that kind of game. But I do think it looks really good, like just polished and fun and crazy.
Yeah.
After that, they showed Dune Spice Wars, which not surprised is a Dune video game coming out.
Yeah, so it's a real-time strategy game.
Mm-hmm.
They showed no gameplay of it. But I like real-time strategy games. I'm a big fan of StarCraft. I like Civilization 6, even though it's not really real-time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, even Age of Empires I liked. So this has my interest, but it's kind of funny because of, like, especially an RTS game, you need gameplay to even understand what to enjoy. So it's like it means absolutely nothing to tell us a title of an RTS game. Like it. It just doesn't do anything.
I mean, the only thing to take away from this to me though is like, I don't know if have you seen the movie Dune?
Yeah, I saw it last week.
Oh, I really liked it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it a lot. Yeah.
I just think it's the perfect setting and perfect style for an RTS game. Like, I just like I can picture it.
Totally, me too. Yeah.
So who knows, right? But yeah, cool. After that, they showed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I don't remember this either. Do you?
Yeah, so this is the Borderlands game that's based off of like D&D. It's like they're playing It's like a Borderlands game, but it's like in a D&D fantasy world.
Okay.
And every single person that I've seen comment about this game says it looks terrible. They're not interested at all. I actually feel like I'm the opposite, where everything I see about this game looks really fun to me. And I like the Borderlands games. I don't love them, but I played through all of them. And this is a game where I'm like, man, I it looks fun. Like I'd be down to play with my friends. Probably again not day one, but I feel like this game's getting a lot of flack, undeservedly. But who knows?
I mean, you know my stance. I don't. I boycott Gearbox games.
Of course,
I won't play anything. I think Randy Pitchford is a piece of something, and I won't support their games. He's a terrible person.
Good.
He's a terrible person, and it's not like Activision or EA where there's just like thousands of people and there's terrible stuff within those structures. But like this man runs this company and he's a tyrant and he's assaulted people and I just can't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, screw this game. To our listeners, do not buy it. After that, they showed Genshin Impact new characters. I'm not really into Genshin Impact. I don't know if you are.
I tried it for like an hour. It actually is a really cool game, but you have to spend like dozens of hours to even like get into the place where you want to be.
It's a free to play kind of like Breath of the Wild style game, right?
Yeah, and again, it looks great and it plays really cool. But it's almost like a Tales game mixed with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I really can't get behind the idea of like paying for experience and paying for. I find that I just can't get over that. I don't think I ever.
Yeah.
Will.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't pay for anything, but I just don't want to spend 70 hours getting to the point where...
Well, but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to play a game where I'm like, wow, I have to, like, run around and kill all these little guys forever because I don't want to pay $50. And, like, and I'm just going to question, like, well, what's the actual middle ground? Like, do the developers expect you to spend $20 for, like, the experience they want? And $0 have you to grind more, and $50 gets you there faster? Like, where's the level they want you to be at? So, like, like where's the game... what's it balanced for? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't quite get how that works with those games, right?
Yeah.
After that, they showed Steel Rising. I don't know.
I think this is the game where you're like a robotic kind of like a girl in like a bonnet. Like you're like a robot. I think you use fans to fight. Like I'd have to double check that, but I think that's what the game is.
Well, it's they have a release date June, and I've never heard of this developer, so.
Yeah, you're like a robotic doll girl, and you have these like bladed fans, and it looks like kind of like an action RPG game.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
After that, they showed Metal Hellsing.
I don't remember this one. Let me look it up.
It looks like it's a first-person shooter, but it looks a little bit more in the vein of
Oh, this is a rhythm. No, this is like a rhythm game.
Oh, really? Even though it's a shooter?
It's a rhythm game FPS kind of mix. Like if you watch the gameplay again, there's a rhythm bar over the target reticle. It's a heavy metal. It's like all these metal bands put music over it, and it's a rhythm game to it, I think. But it's still a first person shooter. But I think like if you follow the beat, you get more damage or something to it. Like there's something about music in it because the guys that announce it are like heavy metal singers, and they like announced all these other heavy metal singers that are in the game.
Cool. You know what? That's actually that's such a unique concept. That's actually kind of on my radar. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds cool. For that, they showed off Rocket League Sideswipe, which is like a 2D version of Rocket League.
Oh, cool.
Looks kind of cool. Looks like good for mobile and iPads, maybe. Again, it's like with these kind of shows, like it's hard to get excited for mobile games that might be fun. Like I want big AAA announcements, right?
Yeah.
After that, they showed Star Trek Resurgence, which is the Telltale game. Never really got too into those Telltale games. I mean, I'm not into walking simulators.
Me neither.
After that, they showed Rumbleverse. This one looks pretty cool, actually. Do you remember this one?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember there was any gameplay, but it gave me some serious vibes of this Knockout City, which I've been playing and I really like. So I could see this being the same vein where, if it's a Game Pass game or a PS Plus game, I'd be down to play this with my friends, and I'd probably enjoy it a lot. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I was kind of, when I was watching this, I was thinking about it. It comes out in February, actually. But it seems like soon. We're in this space now where, like, we've kind of, as far as online games go and, battle royales and shooters and stuff, like, we've figured out how to pretty much polish and get a fair and awesome shooter mechanics for online play. But I don't know if we've really nailed, like, a melee style game. I know, like, Chivalry tried it. I know, like you said, Knockout City has the dodgeball, and there was another game on Wii that had like a balloon fighting kind of thing. But I don't think anyone's actually really nailed the online competitive brawler.
Yeah,
3D brawler. I don't think it's been done yet, and I feel like this game looks like it's trying to do that. I don't know if it'll get there, but I think the moment one of these games does, it's going to be huge.
Totally, I couldn't agree more.
I just think the challenge I think with it is that, how do you make it fair for two people to brawl each other? Like, does it become about who has the best weapon or who can dodge whose attack? Like a game.
But it could be like the dodgeball game where it's like there's a block, there's a roll, there's an attack, there's a jump attack, there's a slide, and like you just have to know when to use them and react well.
So essentially, almost like a little bit of a not tic-tac-toe, like a
rock paper scissors,
which I don't like that approach to game design. I don't think it's very fun. I think it's too random. Then again, I haven't played Knockout City, so I don't know. But...
Oh, well, I see it more like it's a rock, paper, scissors, but even if you lose, as long as you're good on the next rock, paper, scissors, like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone dodges your punch and they're about to punch you, you can still dodge that. You know what I mean? It's not like you just lose.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the real challenge is games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and Ninja Gaiden, like, that the character action type of game doesn't work in multiplayer. Like that
no,
style
totally.
Of
you can't have like crazy combos. Totally.
Yeah, it just doesn't really work because those always like service the player to look awesome. So it just wouldn't work. You couldn't have Bayonetta versus another person playing as Bayonetta. It just wouldn't break. After that, they showed Plague's Tale Requiem gameplay. Now this looked really good. I know. What do you think?
Yeah, I love the first one. This one looks just more of the same but better. So for sure on my radar.
Mm-hmm. And
did you finish the first one?
I never even played it.
Don't you own it?
I have it on PS4 in the box, and I don't think the shrink wrap has even come off.
Oh my god, it's really good.
I mean, if I play it now, I know what's funny. I actually have it downloaded on Xbox Series X because it's on Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
like Microsoft owns that developer.
Oh
yeah, but they own everybody. They own every developer.
But this one isn't. It's coming to PS5 though too, right?
I know, which actually surprised me, but I think it had to do with the fact that they must have started development on it before the purchase. But I believe it will be on Game Pass day one.
I did not know they bought these guys. That's really cool.
Why? Yeah, that's why the first one is on Game Pass. After that, they showed Dying Light 2: Stay Human. I I'm not really into the series. I think you
So
are, though, right?
yeah, so let me say this is probably the worst trailer of the whole thing. I thought this trailer looked like garbage. Didn't show any gameplay. Didn't show anything of what it was about. It was very unclear and muddy. But Dying Light 1 was awesome, and Dying Light 2, from what I have seen, looks great. I will definitely get this cheap with a friend.
This is an expansion. So Dying Light 2 is already out. This is an expansion to it, correct?
No, Dying Light 2 is not out. Dying Light 2 comes out in February.
Okay.
Anyway,
So correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Dying Light 1 had the same style of trailer when it was revealed. It was like a heavily CG trailer, all around zombies. Didn't really show any gameplay.
But like Dying Light 2 has been through development hell like to the nth degree. Like it's been riddled with years of issues and like leaders leaving and all these kind of changing what their plan was for the game. People thought it was like canceled for a long time, and then finally they came back and said no, it's coming out next year or whatever it was, and they showed gameplay. Like it looks like it's gonna come out. It looks good, but I just am surprised that this is like probably their final trailer, and it was just like so flat. Like they didn't show any gameplay really, which is
comes out February 4th. So
yeah, which is a red flag though, because there's been so many issues with this game that people are like, damn, you're not showing gameplay. Like, is it trash, or are you going to delay it again? Like people are worried, I think, because it's been through so many problems, and now they're not showing gameplay 2 months before it comes out is interesting.
That's hard, eh? If you're a developer, you've worked on this game for so many years, and you're like, oh god, we better not put the gameplay trailer forward. It's like, what have you done with your life?
Yeah.
Delay it then. After that, they showed Crossfire X, which is something that you were like, oh, I didn't realize this was a Xbox Game Pass exclusive from Remedy.
No, it's Remedy. I didn't realize it was Remedy.
What
This is the guys that...
is
so these
this
guys
game?
I know. I think it's like a... I have no idea. I thought when I first watched it, I thought it was like, like an indie games take on like Call of Duty or Killzone that like wasn't going to be good. I have no idea. I think this could be almost like a Killzone game, but a Remedy. Like, I have no idea. I'm just speculating.
I have a feeling this is an online only game, right? Like multiplayer.
Oh, it might be. I don't know, but I want to know more about it because I do love Remedy. But
when was this announced?
I have no idea.
It's like to me, this is the example of a game that's been poorly marketed.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I think it's coming out sometime next year.
Yeah, it comes out on February 10th. Like, so
and I know nothing about the game. Like, I know nothing. But
okay,
I mean,
it says here it's already a PC franchise, so it's already out.
Okay, because I saw people talking about Crossfire, and this is Crossfire X. So I'm assuming it's something.
I don't know, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I guess it's probably something like it's a popular online game called Crossfire, and they're bringing it to consoles, and it's like, how do you really market that as a new thing and whatever. Mm-hmm. After this, they showed Vampire Masquerade. I don't know what it's like, a kind of like a vampire story game.
Yeah, I think it's a vampire, kind of like Left 4 Dead, I think.
They showed something called GTFO Shadow Drop. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what that is?
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember it. No.
They showed the first part of the Halo series, which to me, I don't know. To me, it looks kind of bad.
I think it looks terrible. But the only thing I gotta say is, the other video game shows that have come out recently have been pretty solid. So,
I mean, than Witcher, what are you talking
about? Arcane was awesome.
Oh, true.
Even Castlevania was quite good.
Mm-hmm. The Sonic movie.
So like, I'm not writing it off, but from the trailer, it did not look good.
I mean, I think the problem with this game, with this show for me, is that with movies and TV shows that are about war, like usually they have something to say, and usually it has something to do with like war is bad, or something. And I just don't know, like, is this Halo game going to go the route of like, hoorah, like go America, go warrior pride, stay together, fight to the end kind of vibe, or is it going to go the opposite way, being like war is bad and look how tragic this is? And I don't think it's going to hit either of those marks out of a wanting to play it safe, and I don't think that this kind of show can survive on plot alone, especially starring a character that's in a mask. Yeah, and I don't know, like I like Halo, but
Star Wars didn't do that, right?
Didn't do what?
I mean, the Mandalorian's always wearing a mask too.
Yeah, but I would say but I don't love the Mandalorian. So Like, that's not a good comparison. I think The Mandalorian is not that great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have any hopes for this. I think Steven Spielberg's attached. That's probably the best thing about it. Mm-hmm. And he probably went to lunch one day and they put his name on it.
He's like, I'm not doing this. Oh, well, he contributed.
Yeah. After that, they showed an Elden Ring story trailer.
I skipped it.
Because you didn't want to spoil it. Story trailers do nothing for me. Like, I actually think this is a total waste of time. Like, I don't know why we watched this. I don't know why they would show this.
Because I'll tell you the two reasons. One, people that play the From games love the lore, and two, it's George R. R. Martin. So So I'm just saying, like, there are reasons why people want to see that. But yeah, I skipped it.
After that, they showed another exciting Nintendo Switch sizzle reel. And I mean, at this point in the show, just so you know, like, I knew we were getting to the end award wise, and I'm like, okay, like, we're waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, a big announcement. I'm still sitting there waiting.
I was just like, show me one Nintendo game. I was like, show me Mario and Rabbids, show me like Project Triangle Strategy, like show me Kirby again, like show me one game, like please.
No kidding. I mean, like I said, I would have even just taken like a very, very standard like gameplay trailer for Kirby with a release date, and that would have been maybe
exactly. Seriously, even if they showed Pokemon Arceus and just had like a good like 2 minutes of new content, I'd be like, okay, they were present.
I mean, at the very least, though, it did remind us that they have a really killer 2022 year planned. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even put in games, I don't think, like Advance Wars didn't make this trailer, and I don't think Triangle Strategy did. So it's like, but Breath of the Wild 2 did. I don't know if we can speculate on that or not, but I don't know. You could either look into this or not, but I honestly think there's nothing to look into here. It's like, Nintendo of America put a little trailer together. After that was Arc Raiders. I don't remember this one either. Do you?
Yeah, this is the one where I think it's an MMO, but you're like these soldiers, these futuristic soldiers, and you're shooting all these robots and these giant like spider walkers.
Yeah, I remember this. I had the retro style.
Yeah, it
like on a farm.
Really. What?
You were like it's like you're on a farm when you're attacking the aliens, right? Like it's like farmlands. Right there,
I think that's one of the areas. You're in a city for the other area. I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks really, really nice and well polished, and the gameplay, it looks interesting enough that it'd be cool. I was super excited for this. I'm like, that sounds awesome, and then it said it was free to play, and I'm not running it off because it's free to play, but I just worry now that it's going to be riddled with microtransactions and be a boring snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, free to play, you can't get by, I don't think, on just cosmetics in a free to play game unless you have something like huge like Halo or Fortnite. I don't think you can be like a new IP and be like, yeah, buy new costumes for this character you've never heard of. Mm-hmm. So I'm worried they're going to do like XP things and all that, and I'm not about that.
Yeah,
but it did look really cool. The vibe I got from it was like a multiplayer Returnal.
Oh, I did not.
Okay, well, I haven't played.
I don't think you never played Returnal.
It looked a little bit
so beyond not what.
But it looked like it had a little bit of that third-person shooter bullet hell style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't quite see the bullet hell part of it, but yeah, I had to watch the trailer again, but I did not get those same vibes.
Okay, well, I mean, another we'll see. Free to play doesn't bode well, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The last thing was the Matrix Awakens, which was shadow dropped, Unreal 5 demo. Have you played this yet?
I have not.
Okay, so I'll talk about it during our what we've been playing section.
Okay.
But just before we move on from the Game Awards, I think we both agree it was a decent show. But in terms of the actual winners of like best game and everything, so It Takes Two won Game of the Year, which I think you're happy about that. Metroid Dread won Best Action Adventure.
I can accept that. Yeah.
And I thought it was just hilarious how, Nintendo of all developers, of course, It Takes Two wins and they send up their, like, the lead creative designer. He's all excited. He's such a personality.
Yeah, Joseph Fares or whatever, right?
Yeah. And then when Nintendo wins, like, it's like the corporate Nintendo of America PR man, Doug Bowser. I like him, but he got up and just gives like a totally canned, we love our partners. And it's kind of sad. It's like, it really feels like, and I understand why Nintendo does this, but like Mercury Steam, like they have had no voice when it comes to Metroid Dread, right? Like it's almost like they're hiding.
Yeah, but they also had some bad publicity too.
True, yeah. So I think they maybe wanted to avoid that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the reasons it maybe didn't win Game of the Year, because it clearly should have won.
I mean, I hard disagree, but yeah,
I'm kidding about that. So yeah, not much else to talk about the show, I guess, right?
And Returnal won Action Game of the Year.
Yeah, the one disappointment I did have with the awards was that Psychonauts 2 got nothing.
We'll talk about Psychonauts too.
Oh, you've been playing it?
I played it for about 2 hours now, hour and a half.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, Tim Schafer was there. He's wearing a purple suit, and I really thought that game deserved to get something. I mean, story or something like. Yeah, I thought it should some sort of nod, right? Because of what it's done, how unique it is, right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, let's go through the Nindies. Let's go. I mean, there's only about 20 games here. Let's go pretty quick because this is getting super long.
Please go really quick.
So, first of all, Sea of Stars. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's on my radar already. It looks great. Looks like a Secret of Mana kind of game.
Yeah, or like it looks like a spiritual sequel to Chrono Trigger, and it has the composer from Chrono Trigger. So I don't know. Like this is the kind of game that I just don't know. It'd have to be really exceptionally good to get me on board with this because it's not my kind of game. But it looks beautiful, and it's from the developer of The Messenger, and they have a good pedigree.
I would get this game for sure, just for like bus rides. Like it seems like a good game I could chew on slowly over time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The next game, Aliska, the Oblivious of the Twin Goddesses. I don't even remember this one. Do you?
Just.
I'm gonna skip it.
Go to the ones we
Okay, so then they showed another game called Locomotive. I thought looked really, really neat. It's like a point and click adventure.
And this is Chucklefish too, right?
Yep. And it's such a throwback to like Monkey Island and the point and click adventures, and I just think it looks really, really cool. And
this one was interesting to me too. I think I want to watch the trailer again, or just kind of make sure I understand what it's about. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on my radar. It's like I'm always falling for indie games here and there. The next one, there's Ollie Ollie World, which is a big release. It's coming to every platform. Did you ever play Ollie Ollie?
Yeah, I have one of them on the PS4, PS5,
same.
PS Plus. Yeah, I played it. It's pretty fun.
I don't know if I'd buy Ollie Ollie World, but it does look like a pretty good follow-up.
Yeah, I would never buy them, but yeah, I'm same as you. If it was free, I'd probably download it and play it for a couple hours.
After that, they showed River City Girls 2. Which looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like these kind of brawler games, so yeah, it looks cool.
I mean, the first one's on Game Pass, so that alone makes me not want to pay money for this because I think
it'll
be on Game
Pass.
My, yeah,
okay.
it is.
I gotta download that.
Game Pass never ends. And also, I think the Switch version of the first River City Girls, I don't believe it ran at like a good frame rate. I could be wrong, but I think I remember reading that the performance wasn't all there, so. I don't know. If you're gonna jump into a game like this, Derek, you have to get Streets of Rage 4.
That's on my list. It's like one of the. I have a list of maybe like 6 games I still want to get for like as downloadable indie games. Mm-hmm. It's on there.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like even on Switch, it looks beautiful on our 4K OLEDs. Like it's just the presentation, hand drawn animation is spectacular in that game. Mm-hmm. It was on my top 10 of the year last year. They also showed Don't Starve Together, which is a follow-up to Don't Starve. I don't know did you ever play this, the first one?
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, I played
it for a couple hours. Not fun for me at all.
To me, it has one of those art styles that makes me want to turn it off instantly.
I totally feel the same. It's not. Yeah.
With that said, I still admire the art style. Like if it was a drawing or like a short film, I think it's cool. It's got kind of a Tim Burton style, but the gameplay, like I just don't.
I have some friends that loved this gameplay.
Same,
same. Brandon, for example, loved it. Played it for like dozens of hours. I played it for like an hour or two, and it was too slow. It was not for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so not for me either. Definitely not buying. The other game they announced was Chicory, A Colorful Tale, which is I thought this was already on Switch.
No, it's on PlayStation
and probably PC, right?
Oh, I'm not sure. I thought it was a PlayStation exclusive, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, well, I'm glad that it's funny. I'm glad that they released this like before the end of the year, so now I can I'm full transparency. I went and bought it.
Oh yeah, okay. It's on my list. I want to get this game for sure.
I used my coins, so like because I only go digital, I save up coins, so it ended up costing me like very very little, like $5. And I haven't even played it yet. I downloaded it. It looks great, but I kind of promised myself I'd play through some of the other games I have before jumping in.
Mm-hmm. It's highly rated on Metacritic, so it's definitely something you should get to.
I think it's the highest rated game of the year, right?
It's like 92 or something crazy.
Yeah. So this is one that I'll probably I definitely plan to beat this before like end of January before we make our lists. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I'm trying to think what else was really that exciting. I mean, I know at the very end they did the one more thing. And I don't know about you, but I was sitting there being like, okay, this has got to be it. Silk Song time or Ninja Turtle Shadow Drop, like one of those two things, right? I mean, you know, as if the world revolves around my wishes, right? But they showed this game called Omori, and I'm not that interested in it, but a lot of people online said it's really, really good.
Yeah, people have said it's good, and it seems kind of popular. I don't know if popular is the right word because I don't think it probably sold very well, but yeah, I mean, I have to see more. I don't really know what I watched. Like, I don't really know what the game is.
Well, I mean, I feel that about a lot of the games during this entire showcase.
Yeah, I didn't know if like, did you ever play the game Gris, like Gris?
I did. I played about half.
So I didn't know if this game was kind of like that, or this game's more like a story, kind of like you're watching it happen, novel kind of game. I don't really know what this was.
It's more like a kind of like a visual novel / RPG.
Okay.
Yeah, where Gris was more like just a visual, almost like a visual platformer. Yeah, but very basic. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this isn't my kind of game, but it did appeal to a lot of people, and so. Overall, how did you feel about this Nindies Direct? Like, how would you rate it out of 10?
Ooh, like a 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
It wasn't nothing bad. Again, there's nothing that got me excited. Some things that were like, just standard things we've already known about. And none of the
a lot of non-exclusives.
Yeah, and none of the heavy hitters, which is fine. But it didn't have anything that even like a new thing that was kind of like, oh damn, this looks cool. It just felt kind of flat, and it was a very slow. All the trailers were very slow. Like I didn't find any of the trailers kind of fast-paced, actiony. Like, damn, this looks wicked. It didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's worth noting. I don't think a single game during this showcase was exclusive. So there's kind of this element of like, okay, there's a lot of great indie games that are coming to Switch, but nothing here. I mean, I don't know if that should matter for people, but there's a little element of like, okay, well, what's the big thing that you're showing me for the Switch? You know what I mean? Nintendo's the one showing this off. It's like it's like why only show off multi-platform games, right?
Yeah.
But I do think it's cool. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't have my ear to the ground with indie games that much. So I don't actually know if games like River City Girls 2 are being revealed for the first time right now or being announced for Switch for the first time now. And same with games like Chicory. Like, some people might be like, oh my God, I've been waiting for Chicory. It's on PS3.
Yeah. Chicory, was not announced for Switch. This was an announcement. So that I was excited. That was my biggest thing of the show. Like, hands down. I've been waiting for that for months.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, like it's hard to. When they announce that game, it's like, oh, cool, but I don't really know how big of an announcement that is, right?
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that I like though is it feels like they got a very good range of games, and I liked how they showed from various places in the world. Like, there was Indonesian developers, South Korean developers, and there's actually one game I don't remember what the name is, but it's on this list, and it's like you're in like a band, and it's like a rhythm game mixed with a visual novel mixed with like a light kind of RPG. Simulator. And this looked really cool. Like, it's not really my exact kind of game, but it's the art style mixed with the music mixed with like it has a unique soundtrack. I believe it's an Indonesian developed game. That one looked cool. Sorry, I don't remember the title. But
the other thing I want to give credit to is, like you mentioned, like this from all over the world. I also thought it was cool that these people from all over the world got a chance to actually speak themselves and be on camera and kind of like put their name out there as, a developer.
Exactly. Yeah, it feels so personalized, and even though it's narrated and it's fast paced, like I feel like the actual presentation, like the pacing and everything, it's just it's really, really well done. Like they've really figured this out in a way that, it's funny when Nintendo started doing these directs, we were like, oh no more E3 presentations. And now that everyone's doing these directs, you're seeing how badly Sony and Microsoft are fumbling with them. And how Nintendo's just got to now do a pretty fine art. You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost benefited them now that they did that sort of, like, it's like the bad directs are almost feel like they're behind us. Like we haven't had a really, truly terrible direct since, I guess the COVID one at the early 2020, but most of the directs are pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say overall I'd probably give it a 6 or 7 too. And I think, again, I think the one thing they could do to improve these types of things is they really should try to line up like one major exclusive thing. I mean, even something like Ninja Turtles, which maybe I'm in a bubble where I'm hyping it and other people don't, but that's going to be come to Switch first. So even like another trailer plus like a window, like, hey, it's coming in the spring or the summer, would have done it for me, Just remind us about what is exclusive in the indie scene. Don't just have a bunch of Me Too's,
Yeah.
But anyways, we're running low on time, so let's get to what we've been playing.
Okay.
I'll let you go first because you had the Xbox and you got this big experience.
All right. Well, the first game I want to talk about is on the PS5. I started playing Outriders with my buddy, and it's good. Like I said, it is kind of like a Destiny, but third person. But yeah, it's really fun. Like you can tell it's rough around some edges and whatnot, but it's just fun to play with friends. You have these kind of cool skills. Like I'm playing, the classes are cool. Like I'm a pyromancer, so all my skills are fire based, and he's something called a trickster, so he can like freeze time and like go invisible and like warp around. But like we're both quite good at games, so we're just obliterating. But it's so fun just to play a co-op game. I feel like I haven't played an online co-op game like this in a long time. It's
online co-op, but you're not playing against other players. You're playing against like non-playable monsters.
Yeah, it's PvE.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really fun.
I think that's on Game Pass.
I'm not sure if it's on Game Pass, but
Square
it
Enix
could
made
be.
it, right? Square Enix made it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is on Game Pass, actually. Yeah, it came out earlier this year, and I remember it had kind of a sketchy launch, right?
If it has crossplay, Peter, you should join us.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Okay. So that was the first game, and then like we mentioned a few times this podcast, I got an Xbox Series X on Sunday. Took me a few days to figure out how to get Game Pass because I was trying to do the whole the gimmick to get it on like 70% off. So I finally managed that. And I downloaded. How
did you do that?
So if you buy Xbox Live Gold, which is $60 for the year, you can stack up to 3 years of it, and then for $1 you can exchange it all to Xbox Game Pass. So Xbox Game Pass for 3 years is like $700, but I got it all. I got 3 years for $200. Okay. Yeah, but you can only do that when you have to do it before you ever get Game Pass.
Yeah. See, I haven't. I think I pay like $12 a month.
Yeah. So to me, like that's a lot of money. It's like 100. Or I think it's $16 a month. But $160. So you got 1 year when I got 3, basically. But anyways, so I got that. Downloaded a bunch of games. First game I played was Halo
Infinite.
Yep.
How far are you?
So I'm about probably 4 or 5 hours in. Like
so you're in the open world spot, right?
Yeah. I'm on like maybe the third mission in the open world. So I did the first 2, and then I'm on like the third mission.
I find it very, because I've been playing a lot of Halo, but I find it very hard to know when one chapter ends and another one begins.
I don't even know that there are chapters. For me, I'm just like doing the yellow missions and going where I want to go.
Yep, same.
And I like it. It's good. I don't think I like it as much as you do. I find it gets repetitive real fast. I enjoy it in a sense where I play it for an hour, and then the moment I start saying this game feels like I'm just playing the same thing over and over again, I switch to something else. So that's why the Xbox like switching ability is really nice. Quick resume. Because I think I would hate Halo if I didn't have that.
So wait, I'm going to chime in there about my experience with Halo. So when I first got the new Halo, at first I was like buzzing about it a lot, but I think the more I've played it, I'm a little more online with your thinking now, where it's very repetitive, and it's really just combat's really the only thing to the whole game.
Yeah, and I find the enemy varieties, like, you're fighting the same 5 enemies over and over and over again. Yeah. And the guns you often
it has more enemies than that, actually.
I know you're right. I know. And I find that you end up using probably the same 4 or 5 guns for the majority of the game. Mm-hmm. And I like the grappling hook, don't get me wrong, but it does not feel as good as it feels slow and clunky. Like I know you're right. I like the verticality. You can truly go anywhere. I thought that was awesome. Like you can scale a mountain, but the grappling hook does not feel fluid. It feels like you really have to aim it at the right ledge of the place to get to, and it feels slow to zip.
If it's too far away from you, it won't hook, right?
I know, but it's also if it's too high up, like it doesn't like auto lock to the lip to get you. Like if I want to get on top of a building, I have to make sure I'm like right at the top, like aiming near the top of the building.
Did you know though? Okay, but did you know the trick where the moment your grappling lands, you press jump? Did you know that?
Yeah, and you get a bunny hop, yeah.
So like I can hit like meters down from the lip of a ledge and do that, and I'll jump way above the ledge.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about.
I've gotten really skilled at it. Like you can even do this thing where if you're running and you zipline the ground and then jump, you can do like this like Mario long jump style.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean like you can do that going up a ledge too.
Oh,
so if I'm shooting like up a straight ledge and my thing won't reach to the very top, I can press jump right the moment that I get to the end of the grappling.
Oh yeah,
and I'll jump way higher. It's awesome.
I didn't know that, but can I grappling hook like straight onto the wall, like perpendicular to the wall, and then jump from that, or do I have to actually?
You have to have upward momentum.
Yeah, see, like that. That's what's annoying. It's like if I'm in the middle of a fight and I want to get on top of the building to get away, it's like, I have to like really aim at the lip of the building to even be able to get up on top. I find it slow. Like if I think of Titanfall 2, I find that game just feels more fast paced. Again, this game feels good. Like the gunplay is nice. It looks like it's all good. I feel it's already dated. Like it feels, the combat in the gunplay does not feel as good as other games, and the open world does not feel better or interesting than other games. Like honestly, if this was not a Halo game, I think it would be a lot worse regarded. It's really good. It's well polished. I like it. I would give it a solid 8 right now.
I think I'm mixed about it, right? Because like with some of the things you said, like I think the gunplay feels amazing.
I agree. It feels good, but it
4K
feels
60.
Old.
Oh, I don't think it feels old. I think it feels like a very well refined advancement on the same formula for Halo. Mm-hmm. And I actually think it's the best feeling first person shooter next to Titanfall 2 and Doom Eternal. Like I think those are the 3 peak. But the main difference is, and I guess I'm giving Halo more credit here, is that Halo's not a linear corridor shooter, and those other 2 more or less are. So it's like the fact that it's this big open world. And the other thing with Halo that I really am impressed by is I find the environment much more impressive than I expected it to be in terms of the way it looks, the way the sky and the weather system works, the way the natural, like if the grass you never see loading in. The rocks look real. There's birds flying around. Like I actually love the aesthetic to the world. With that said, like I reached a point the other day, like I was playing. I was like, wow, I can go in this base any which way. I can ignore this base. But I kind of reached a point where I'm like, wow, I'm really just going base to base, and there's almost nothing in between. Like sure, I can go take out like a really hard mini boss and get a weapon, or I can free some guys along the way, and sure, but it's like. It gets to a point where it's like, well, there's nothing to explore. There's no secrets. There's no NPCs. There's no, like, I don't know. It just feels like to be an open world, you need to have that variety. And that's something that where, even though I like the gameplay and gunplay in Halo Infinite more than something like Far Cry, it just seems like there's infinitely more variety in Far Cry. So maybe there needed to be like wild animals to hunt or mini puzzles, or I don't know,
or like I don't know, like this thing sounds stupid, like racing or like vehicle things, or like there should be
like imagine it's like, hey, get in this vehicle and you need to escort us there, or you need to race this bomb there before it blows up, or something a little more creative. The other problem I have with it is like there's like the biome problem is like it really feels like you're in the same place.
Yeah, it's one. I was going to say that, like one place the whole time,
and it's very kind of disappointing. And I think the big thing missing from this Halo is that, like, you know, like we said, other shooters that are first person one player shooters have like a lot more variety, and there are more scripted moments, more story, and like in Titanfall you're doing platforming and you're doing mech fighting, and you know what I mean. And I think the big reason this feels like it's missing something is it doesn't have any co-op in the campaign, and that's such a main component to Halo. And I think that would have made a big difference. I think I would have had a lot more fun being able to play online co-op or local co-op in the campaign.
Totally, I agree. So yeah, I'm the same as you. Like, it's not bad, and I agree the gunplay feels great. I agree with everything you just said. Like, I'm mixed about it because, like, you know, I'm still playing and enjoying myself. I just feel like there's just things that it gets repetitive. I don't know.
Yeah, I've kind of come to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to play this in short bursts. And the thing that I think really discourages me is that I know the ending is a slog. Like, I know the ending just goes into like linear corridor mode, kind of like the FF15 problem, Final Fantasy 15, where it's like the last stretch is just apparently a horrible slog. Are you playing on heroic? What are you playing on?
I started in the second hardest difficulty, so heroic, I think.
Yep.
And then I dropped it down.
So yeah, like I'm still on heroic.
I wasn't having fun. I kept dying to like bosses, and eventually I killed them. But I was like, I don't want to die 8 times, then, you know, eventually kill them. Like, I just want to have fun. Like, I just want to have fun.
Well, look, I don't know. I'm actually playing it all on heroic, funny enough, and because I'm pretty good at Halo, and there are some moments that are like extraordinarily frustrating with the bosses, but I don't know. It's this weird thing where like I really enjoy overcoming them, and like there's a few boss fights in the game that I've died probably over 15 times on, and had to like really strategize and really play safe. And there is some moments like the highlights are higher than any first person shooter I've played. Like, I've had some really good moments, but it just, I think overall feels a little half baked. Like, it doesn't feel finished.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think for me it'll be on my game of the year lists, probably like a 9 for me. But when I first was playing, I'm like, this is going to be like my game of the year top 3, and I don't think it will be anymore.
So moving on.
Yeah. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, so the next game I'll talk about is Psychonauts 2. So I played that for probably an hour and a half or 2 hours. I'm like, I got to the main hub, and then I started like the next level or one after that. Like, I'm maybe in the 3rd level.
So you did like the teeth kind of level. The dentist guy.
I did the intro. That was the intro level. And then I did like, you enter the main hub, and then you do like a little sequence, and then you do the next level.
It's one of those games where you almost can't tell when a level begins and a level ends.
Exactly. So far, I do not like this game very much. I hope it gets better, but right now it feels very collectathon. It feels very slow as a platformer. It feels very clunky as far as using your abilities and having to swap through them and like charge up. The upgrades for the abilities seem very meaningless, and they don't interest me at all. The story was so... One, I didn't play the first one, so I almost wish I did, because I didn't care at the start, and there was so much dialogue, and it didn't really explain to you what's happening from the first game. That now I'm skipping every cutscene.
The gist of it is that you're just in a school for what you're doing. You're getting something to save it, and it's like you're trying to untangle this whole issue that some guy's in this guy's head, and he's got a problem, and you got to get the key from here to open this door to get in his head, and
exactly. But yeah. So for me, like, I hope it gets better. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. Sorry, I don't know if I said I hate it. I just don't love it. Like, to me, it's like right now a 7. I hope it gets better. You said it opens up a bit and you can kind of have more freedom, but just the core gameplay feels really sluggish to me, and I don't like that for my platformers. So we'll see. But so far, out of the 3 Series X games that I played, this is my least favorite.
Interesting. I mean, I beat this game earlier this year, and I loved it, like I said. But I don't find it a collectathon at all, for one. Like, all the collectibles are extra. And I don't...
they all give you like power-ups and stuff.
But here's the thing. Like, I played the game ignoring them. Like, if they were there, I grabbed them. But you know what I mean? I grabbed a little bit, but like, I beat levels that I had like way less than 25% of the collectibles. So I'm not playing that way.
I'm not trying to 100% it either. I just felt like there was nothing else to the gameplay.
I mean, to me, I played the game in the style of to progress. Do you know what I mean?
Like I am too, though. I am too. I just found like there's nothing in the game. Like what is the fun part of the game?
Well, it's platforming through zany environments, and
yeah, the platforming sucks. Like the platforming just is so slow and sluggish. It really made me appreciate Mario Odyssey. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, you're comparing it to the all-time king. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but you're comparing like a 9.6 to a 9 point whatever you gave this game. I'm just saying it shouldn't be that far off. Like this game just does not feel good in any regard of a platformer. Even if I compare it to Ratchet and Clank on the PS5, like it just is slow. Like it just is slow and into like the abilities. Like I had to switch my abilities all the time to use.
So that is one thing that I will complain about the game. The way they set up you constantly are switching. So you kind of got to set up a system where like, to me it was kind of like, okay, these are the 3 that I'm always gonna have, and this is my Switch one.
Exactly.
And you get into a flow, but so I will say, when you mentioned, we're talking about Kina last week, and you kind of said, oh, it's like a great PS2 game, and it feels like a PS2 kind of game. That's the feeling I get from this. Like it takes me back to like a PS2 GameCube type of platformer, and it's like almost like a long lost kind of game. So I'll admit, like the platforming and the combat do not in any sense of the word feel like the peak of any genre. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think I went in with too high of expectations. That's
probably, yeah. Like the platforming, yeah, I'll agree. It's more about seeing the environments than it is about the actual like running and jumping game feel.
Yeah,
and the combat to me is like something out of a kind of a basic. It almost feels like a Jack and Daxter, like
yeah,
kind of a
useless. Like
yeah, like a Ratchet and Clank light. But I mean, some people had real problems with the combat. It clicked with me, and I just kind of found it like a decent combat.
I also maybe I'm just not far enough in the game, but the real reason I thought this game was going to be awesome is like really kind of far out levels. The first level was kind of cool when you like, you know, he changes gravity and then you're like climbing up the cubicles. I hope there's more levels that are just kind of like mind bending and really cool.
So they do, yeah. The mind bending just keeps going.
That's the real reason I want to play it, because I want the cool levels.
Yeah, and it ends on a bang too. I mean, the game I played a while ago, and it's such a whirlwind that I almost don't like fully remember every part of it. And like I said, I couldn't always tell like what was just a part of the hub world platforming area and what was actually like a stage. Do you know what I mean? And I actually like how it blurred those lines, because it made me feel like it's like, you know, in Mario you really see like, okay, this is the game. It's this many courses, this many stars. You feel the game. And in this one, I just kind of fully jumped into the world like it was a Zelda, where I'm like, I am in this world. I'm doing this mission. I'm not just looking for a level and looking for a key and looking for a star. I'm actually going in this guy's head to solve his problem. Yeah, and that's the thing that I really liked about it, was that when you're exploring inside these levels, the levels are designed based on what that person's mental psyche is, right? So I think to me it was, and also I love the story. I thought the voice acting is some of the best voice acting in any game. The cutscenes are there. It's extraordinarily polished for like a presentation. It runs at 4K, 120 frames. I played the whole game at 120 frames, and it looks great. And
is there a way to turn on 120 frames, or like, I don't know if it is or isn't. Like I can't tell.
Go into the settings and go to video, and go. It's like you can literally switch in the main menu 60 to 120
of Psychonauts or of Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, there might be something in the Xbox home menu where you need to like so it auto. I don't know.
Okay, so I didn't even see the 120 frame option in Psychonauts, so I gotta check that.
Okay,
first.
check, because there's a very distinct area that says graphics 60 or 120. It like literally has that number. And when I've had friends over to show them what 120 and 60 feel like, this is the game I used as an example.
Okay, I gotta check that after.
Yeah, and eventually you get more power-ups. Like I know you probably have the ball one where you can roll.
Yeah.
So once you get a couple of those, you chain them together. And I will say, like, it's one of those games to me that's it's more than the sum of its parts. I just love the music and the presentation. And yeah, the gameplay's not amazing, but it has enough variety. I think you'll find especially later in the game, like there's parts where you're like on a cooking show, and there's enough variety.
Okay.
But there is one level, I will say, in like maybe the second half of the game, where you're getting a band.
Don't spoil too much. So don't spoil. I won't. Too much.
But I'll just say you're getting a band back together, and the graphics completely changed. Like remember the Luncheon Kingdom and Odyssey, where it's like a totally different look.
Yeah. It's
kind of like that, but it's now cell shaded. So it's like all of a sudden, it's a radically different graphical style. Like it's
that's cool.
Not at all the same. Like the textures are literally cell shaded. And this part is wild because you're like going between dimensions, and it's just this one level is probably like the highlight of the year for me as far as levels and moments go. And then when you so you're getting this band together, and Jack Black has a song in it. And I don't know if you know, but like Elijah Wood is one of the voices. Jack Black is one of the voices. And there's just like really, really good song in that level. And it just came together so well for me that song's on my playlist now. So
okay, sick. I mean, I'm gonna finish the game, and I probably actually will go and play Psychonauts 1 because I heard there's some really cool levels in that game too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, no, I don't hate it, and I'm gonna keep going through it. And I felt it was slow. But anyways, the final game, I'm trying to move forward. The final game I played was Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, okay.
And out of all three of the games, this one is my favorite so far. This game is freaking awesome. Like I've never really played a sim racing game before.
I don't know if this would be considered sim, more like arcade/sim.
Okay, sorry, I don't know all the different.
A sim would be like Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsports, where you're really, really like on racetracks, and this is more kind of like.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think this game is awesome though. Like it's just so fun to drive around and whip around streets, and I've always found these games really hard to make the turns and judge how fast or slow you need to go. But I'm finally getting the hang of this game. I'm like, I actually am kind of learning how to like adjust my speed to like make those tight turns. Mm-hmm. And it looks awesome. Like I'm just having a blast. Like
it's a bit of a different sensibility on power slides than like or drifting than like Mario Kart. Like
exactly, it's more authentic, right? You like it's like you don't realize like I'm going like 130 miles per hour. Like you don't really make turns even at like 60 miles per hour.
Like you have to
really
use the brake.
Yeah, you like actually have to like go down to like a realistic speed for turning. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the reason I think I'm really liking it is it's such a good palate cleanser. From I like all three games I'm playing because I can swap between all of them, and they're all so different. So like I'll play Halo for an hour or whatever, and I'll say I'm kind of getting tired of the gunplay, and it's 30 minutes till we're doing our podcast. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna jump into Forza and play for 30 minutes, do a race or two. It's such a good it's such a good game to like quickly get a race in. Mm-hmm. Where I feel like Halo and Psychonauts, I have to commit a bit more time. This game I can just jump into for 25 minutes or an hour, and then switch to a different game, and like I feel like I've done something fun. Like,
and I really like the off-road stuff in that game, like the
everything. I like off-roading, the speed you can get on the roads, like the wicked jumps, like the storms. Everything's cool so far. I'm all for it.
Are you playing in performance mode or quality mode?
I'm doing 60 frames.
Okay, yeah. Like once I switched to 60, there was no going back.
I didn't even want to try it. I know it looks really, really good in the
30
the quality.
But it's the feel is not there.
Yeah, I want to have smooth.
So I was glowing a lot about that game when I first got it too. But I will say, like after a while, and you've kind of seen all the environments and seen the whole map, like you do get to a point of just like, okay, that's kind of it, and nothing compelled me to progress.
And again, I have a feeling that will happen to me too. But that's why I'm again liking Game Pass. Is if I put 5 hours into this game and stop, I'm ending on a high note. I'm ending when I'm like that's enough for me.
Totally.
Where if I buy a game for the PlayStation, there's a little bit more of the obligation to say like I'm kind of getting tired, but like I got to see it through to the end. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I like that game a lot, but there was that point where it's like I probably have like 6 to 8 more hours to finish this game, but like I got to finish the game. Where this is like, I'm done. Like I don't need it. I don't need to play more Forza, or I keep it downloaded, and then maybe in 3-6 months I'm playing other games, and I just want to race around for 25 minutes and cleanse the palate. So,
I mean, I guess my main issue with Forza and why I think is a little overrated in the reviews is just, it comes down to like once you get kind of over that gameplay loop, there's just really nothing to keep me going, and I wish there was. I really wish they had like sectioned off areas or made it so it's like, I gotta keep playing to get that. Like there's I literally have like literally no reason to keep playing it. Like it's like, I guess I could keep doing harder and harder races, but
unlocking cars. Like some people love all that.
I get that. I guess it's not enough for me, and I guess I kind of. You're right. It's like a palate cleanser. You turn it on, you race around, you see the beautiful environment, you do a couple races, and you switch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. So what have you been playing?
So I've been playing. I mean, I've talked about Halo Infinite, but I've also been playing Death's Doorway.
Death's Door, but yeah.
Is it Death's Door? Okay. I don't think I talked about this last time as much, but I'm really liking it. I'm about 50% in now. And it's very basic, but it's got a really beautiful art style, and
the music's great. Did I ever sing you the song?
The music's
Did I ever sing you that
amazing.
song?
Have you played this game?
No, but I have one of the songs on YouTube. I want to play it. Again, it's on my list of like 6 games to download. But I have a song that it's on my YouTube like playlist, and I love that song.
Okay, well, send me that song. I mean, I've probably heard it, but send it my way. So I here's the thing. So I got it on Switch because I like to play it on handheld, and it's a great game for that. But it does apparently run at 60 frames, nice, more and higher resolution on Xbox and PS5, and you can definitely tell on Switch that it's 30 frames. So I don't know if that'll influence you, but to me, I've kind of gotten over it, and I've noticed that I played it on my little TV, but then I switched to our 65-inch 4K OLED, and I think something about the frame rate seems smoother now on the OLED. I don't know if it's like the variable refresh rate of the TV or something, or if Switch can even do that, but kind of I don't know, or my eyes just adjusted. But now I don't see any frame rate problems. And it's beautiful music, and the one thing I'm thinking as I play it is like the next top-down Zelda game, it better up its ante. You know what I mean? Because I know that like a Link's Awakening was a remake, but like the performance, it was so poor in that game versus this game. And this game's doing so much more with so much better animation, and it's got better music, and it's got unique ideas. And I mean, it doesn't feel as much of a world. It kind of feels like gameplay segments and levels. So it's not as much like, I got to go back to the town with this now and go back here with that now. It doesn't have that vibe, but I really hope the next top-down 2D Zelda takes a page out of some of these games with the combat, with the pulling the camera even further out to show more. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I don't know if I'm going to get burnt out on it yet, or if it's going to be Game of the Year caliber, but we'll see.
I don't think it's that long of a game. I think it's only like 8 or 10 hours.
Yeah, I think my gameplay time is about 4 hours, and I'm 50%. So
yeah.
The other thing that I played, I haven't really been playing a ton recently, but I got the Matrix Awakens demo. This is definitely worth checking out. It's more like an Unreal 5 engine demo, and there's things about it that are insanely impressive. Like, unlike anything I've seen before. And it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's weird. Like, if you just watch a gameplay clip of it, it doesn't look... It looks good, but like it runs at 30 frames, and once you start driving and crashing into cars, it kind of gets choppy, and like there's no real physics or game. There's no real game to it. Like you can't punch people. Like you literally can just walk and get in a car, and then there's a button to fly. But when you fly, it's just first person. You don't actually see your character flying. But the impressive thing is that there's more like street NPCs and cars on the street than any game I've ever seen.
Wow.
So it's like finally, it's like you almost, honestly playing this, you almost realize immediately how empty every other open world game has always been. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially ones that take place in cities. Like, you think about GTA 5, and you're like, wow, there's like 3 cars on the road at a time. And you turn the road
Spider-Man,
there, and there's 3 more cars there. And it's so insanely impressive. And the crazy thing is that the cars are like they're not just like loading in. Like when you go to you'll see, but when you go to like fly around the world, you can zoom way up off the map.
Yeah, all the cars are there.
And all the cars are still there. And there's no like pop in.
I was reading about it, and they said, like, I was reading in some of the stats, and it's like 14,000 cars are in the game at minimum at all the times.
Yeah, it's wild. And honestly, you can fly so fast through the city that I almost had a moment of like feeling like I was flying, and it was like almost like a crazy next gen experience because it's unlike anything I've seen. And it kind of blew my mind just on the technology. And
I'm gonna download it tonight.
What was the other thing that was cool about it? Was that
did you unlock the night mode?
No, I honestly didn't. I literally just kind of walked around a bit. I'm like, cool, and I flew around, and there's some things to see.
Because apparently there's a spot where you can get night, and apparently night, like seeing the game in night mode, is insane.
Oh, cool. No, you can pause it and switch it to night.
No, I think there's actually. I don't know if there's actually something. I don't know. But
you basically can go. There's like not anything to do, but there are things on the map that you go to, and like it has like a quote, and then it'll cross that off your map. So you can go around and get all those. That's kind of boring. But the amazing thing to me also is like, when you're flying around, it's really just like you're a camera flying around. But you can go to like any store or sign and like read the signage super close up. So it's like you can go so close to a stop sign or to a street sign, and you don't see any jaggies. It's using what's it called?
Procedural generation.
No, it's not.
Oh no.
It's I can't remember the name. It's like nine-eighths or something, or minites. It's like a different type of polygon where you don't notice any actual quality loss. Like as you get closer, things like the polygons get higher and the textures get higher. So it's like I don't know how it works exactly. I'm not a developer, but it's just to go so close to a sign on a store, and it's just like says donuts or something, 99 cents, but it's so sharp and looks so real. And looks so individualized. Like it's not like every corner has the same donut sign. But then you fly way up in the world, see all the cars running, and then you go over to like a building and you look every single window. It's not like in Spider-Man where it's like they have this effect that looks like there's an interior. There's actually a modeled interior and like a 3D modeled interior of every single window. Like it's wild. Wow. And it's just wild, like the scale of it. So super impressive.
That's cool.
Yeah, Derek, so anything else you've been playing? That's all I've been playing.
That's it for me. I downloaded a bunch of other games, so I'm sure I'll have lots to talk about over the next few months on the Game Pass games I'm playing. But yeah, that's it for now.
And so just for our listeners, it's been a long episode, but I guess, Derek, we won't be back in 2 weeks. We'll probably be back in January.
Yeah, in January, I'd say.
So we're kind of on our Christmas break, so hopefully we'll have something to talk about then.
Well, we actually could do it in 2 weeks from now, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll figure it out. I mean, there's just really not much to talk about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, Derek, it's been a slice.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for listening. And tune in next time to the Nintendo Bros podcast.
See you later.
Bye-bye.